I think this one's going to be even harder because I feel like for some of these, I've been digging between the couch cushions. Like, is there a game under there? Did something come out this year? Can we nominate some of the bridesmaids from last year?
Yeah, Spider-Man 2, come on in.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the HGO podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Ethan. Joining me, as always, are my good friends Kyle.
Hello.
And Hunter. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing just swell.
I'm just going to say, the stingers are still the exact same, but Kyle is not on Twitter, so go to Blue Sky. We're all on Blue Sky now as well, but I was going to put like a stupid little butterfly emoji or something next to it, but it's like the ugly orange one, not like just the blue one that's like on, like, it just looked ugly, so yeah, just go find him there.
You couldn't have photoshopped something in like 2 minutes?
No, it's live, isn't it? It's like a live thing, I can't edit it. It's like the way it's fancy schmancy where we're doing it live, dude. It's not a pre-built animation. It can be customized on the fly, dude. I could put Kyle Smells and it could update it like that. But you know, I'm not magic, dude. I'm not magic.
I don't know if I actually knew that or not.
No,
I thought it was like a thing you made.
No, well, technically, yeah, but it's all magic. It's in the cloud. I could change it on the fly. I can take away Hunter's privileges if I want to at any given moment. So no pressure, Hunter. No pressure.
I mean, do what you want. I don't really care.
How you doing anyway, guys? It's been a fun week, hasn't it? It's been a great week. Take a sip.
It's been a week. All right.
Yeah. We hope you guys are
We're having a normal one on this side of the pond.
Yeah. Hope you guys are getting through it. And just remember, guys, just another 4 years. Okay, that's all it is. Just another 4 years. But we're gonna distract you from one tragedy to another. It's Game Awards season, ladies and gentlemen. You thought it couldn't get worse enough. Here we go. It's Jeff Keighley time. So we are going to do our predictions for the nominees for the Game Awards, which for some reason in our trilogy, the Game Awards has become a trilogy on this channel, it seems. We have predicting the nominees, predicting the winners, and then the results. And for some reason, in order of popularity, it always seems to go predictions of the predictions, and then the actual predictions, and then actual results no one cares about. So we're here for the big one, ladies and gentlemen. Jeff Keighley has not graced us with any nominees yet, so we're going to tell you what they are before he does so. Save your job. So sit on back. If that sounds like it's up your street, come on in. The water's fine. Because as everybody knows, we are the place to come for any kind of video game opinion. We know them all. We played every video game this year. We've reviewed every single one of them. All three of us. Not a single one whatsoever. But, you know, we're casting all of our personal feelings aside and just getting with the math and going, what is the most likely game to be nominated for the Game Awards? Let's find out, shall we? But if you're new here, hey, welcome on in. HGO Podcast. We're here every Monday at 5 p.m. UK time, 12 Eastern on podcast services everywhere, and youtube.com/hotgamersonly. Housekeeping for you. Life is Strange review out this week. I was too busy with work, and then Hunter kidnapped me, and we recorded a 3-hour spoiler cast, and then went all my time. So review will be out this week. Please look forward to it. It's taken a lot of time. I was saying this in the spoiler cast, but Cal won't know this, that there was over the introduction to it and the conclusion, not any of the actual gubbins that actually matters, but the outside of it. The bread of our review sandwich is over like 1,200 words by itself, regardless of what everything else is. So I think it'll be a fun one. So yeah, be sure to check that out. And if you haven't already, on Friday, me and Hunter released a 3-hour spoiler cast for Life is Strange Double Exposure, so you can go and check that out if you haven't done so already. It's a fun one, so yeah, go check it out. It was fun. I think we went crazy. We didn't think it would last that long, but it did. So you can go and check it out. It's out right now.
Seems to be how these things always go.
I made a joke saying that it'd be somewhere between the length of a regular podcast and Gladiator 2 as a joke, and then we chuckled and moved on. It was 20 minutes longer than Gladiator 2, so, you know, we're fine. You know, we absolutely demolished that goal as well. Setting new precedents on the podcast, as always. Anyway, that's enough of that. More reviews coming as we get to them eventually. Thank you for your patience. Let's dive right in. We like to keep you guys engaged so we don't do Game of the Year for straight away, so, you know, tee-hee. But if you are specifically after certain categories, timestamps down below on the podcast and on YouTube. So go and check those out. Obviously, we skip a load of the boring ones, and we don't mean boring. Well, no, I do. I mean they're fucking boring.
Well, so does Jeff.
So
So
does Jeff. No, Jeff. So anything to do with esports, anything to do with ongoing games and stuff like that. Ongoing game is the most boring one to predict because it's the same 5 games every fucking time. So if you want us to say Fortnite, No Man's
it's Final
Sky,
Fantasy, Fortnite,
Final
or
Fantasy
Genshin.
14,
Yeah.
Genshin Impact, and like whatever, like Apex or whatever's doing well this year, you go with that. Bob's your uncle. But we're just gonna do the ones that we think are the most interesting, the ones that are most likely to have deviances, and see how close we get. Last year we were like 50-50. So let's see if we've learned from our mistakes last year. I think this one's going to be even harder because I feel like for most of these, I feel like I've been digging between the couch cushions, like lifting them up and going, is there a game under there? Did something come out this year?
There's been a few of these where I'm sitting here like, huh. Where I'll have like 1 or 2, and then after that, it's like, well, shoot.
Can we nominate some of the bridesmaids from last year that didn't get a nom this year? Like, can we just do that? Because like some of these,
Yeah, Spider-Man 2, come on in.
Let's try that again. So yeah, we've got a bunch of categories here, and we're gonna play 2 games this week. We're gonna play one. What are the 5? Game of the year is 6, but what are the 5 games that we think are going to be nominated? And 2, can we think of 5 games that could be nominated for this category? Because I feel like that's the bigger question. And we're going to start off with one of my favorites. Best game direction. Why is it one of my favorites, you ask? Because every time I sit down and look at this category, I'm like, what does that even fucking mean? So we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about it. Because sometimes I'm like, it's just the overall direction of the game, but I feel like how did we do last year? Someone's got the stats up. How many did we get right on this one last year? Out of curiosity, it's on the other tab. I don't want to flashbang
3 out of
myself.
5.
3 out of 5. That's not bad. That's not
Baldur's
bad.
Gate, Tot K, and Alan Wake 2.
There you go, then. So, does anybody have any suggestions for this category? I feel like
Astrobot.
that's not a bad shout. I do have Astrobot on my list of maybes. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is another one that I have on there because that just seems to be the kind of game that would get one of those. Because it's like, is it semi-linear in its direction a lot of the time? Yes, there you go. They just kind of wander around on it. I feel like that is we're running with very few games here where it's like I feel like a lot of the games that are gonna get regurgitated again and again, like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, like Astrobot, like Metaphor Fantasio, I think are just going to show up in a lot of these this year. The big question I have for you guys is, where does Jeff draw the line on Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree? I think that's the big discussion to have this year is where's he drawing the line?
Probably
not game of the year, but everything else.
Except for game of the year, yeah.
Yeah. So I just wanted to get that out of the way because I'm like, I can feel like Elden Ring's gonna get a load of things again because of, everyone going, the public going, Elden Ring, Elden Ring, Elden Ring, So I don't know. Hunter, have you got any games that we haven't mentioned yet? For game direction?
See Silent Hill 2 getting it.
I had that as a maybe as well.
As like a nomination because, bringing that forward in the way that they did was really well done. A bunch of the environments and stuff and the way it's put together sings really nicely.
Yeah. I can see that. One that I have here that I don't necessarily is going to... I feel like this game is in a really tough spot because it came out at the start of the year. It was really beloved by a lot of people. And then, it's just kept on trucking along because it's an online game. So it just kept on going. Helldivers 2. It's just a game that I feel like is going to be a bridesmaid of the year. I feel like it is the Insomniac game of this year where it will get a load of noms for a lot of stuff, but might not particularly win anything bar best multiplayer. So I just wanted to mention that as well because it has a really solid gameplay loop in terms of the way that the game just functions. So I was like, potential possibility. And then you've got your Elden Ring. discussion, it was more Elden Ring. You know, it was good Elden Ring from the 6 hours I played it.
It's Elden Ring, but they gave you a parry, so everyone loved it.
Yeah, yeah. And it had some fun fights this time, which was a shame that they skipped those in the base game and laid them all for DLC. But you know, it happens. It happens. I don't know. Like, where do you, like? Is this just gonna be like game direction? Game direction and game of the year to me are always like pretty much hand in hand to me. Where I'm like,
Yeah.
what's
Yeah,
A
game
fucking
lot of
up?
the
direction's
times
always felt kind of like a nebulous category.
a
Yeah.
lot of the times, like, I can easily guess the winner most years, but after that, I've got nothing. Like last year, Alan Wake won it, and that seemed pretty obvious. Um,
This year feels hard.
yeah, when Death Stranding was nominated, that won it
It's
because,
almost
of
sometimes
course,
this
it did.
category. I mean, obviously we're not predicting winners today, but it's like often best game direction is often the bridesmaid category of you're not going to win main game of the year, have the second
Mhm.
best award of the show. It's basically what it's like Red Dead Redemption 2 won this category and then God of War won game of the year. It's like one of those where it's just like
Ah, yeah. With
we
the
have
exception of
we have
The
two
Last
game
of Us 2,
that
we're
were
making another Naughty Dog game, and then
every trophy for
winning.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It won this category that year, and that was incredibly silly
Well,
because you
90% of the
made
time.
another
I
Naughty Dog game,
also I
and
also
you
want to say
tortured your
yeah.
studio to do it.
I also want to say, because I think this game will show up in quite a few categories this year that we always talk about on this show when we get around to this season. There's always the indie game of like the season, right? There's like the darling, right? And I feel like there's no contest on what this is this year that it's going to be Balatro. Like
Oh,
that's going to
yeah,
be
it's
what
gonna
this
be
game is.
Balatro.
So
Mm.
it's like there'll be others that are nominated for bits and pieces here. Like I'm sure Animal Well will get a nom later on, like for indie game and stuff like that. But it's like Balatro is
Yeah.
going to be the one that shows up in these categories if anything does, right? So it's like again, don't necessarily see it as a game direction. Game direction to me always screams like a AAA. This look at how well put. Like it's like we're trying to be cinema award of nonsense.
It depends. Like Hades got it or got nominated one time. I'm struggling to think of other indie games that might have been nominated before, but
Mm.
one of those things where apparently Balatro is very much drug
It's
addicting
the crack
levels of
cocaine of video games.
yeah.
Apparently, that's what I've heard.
Yeah, because this game also came out at the beginning of the year, and unlike, others that hit it off big at the beginning, I continue to hear about it all year.
Oh, it just doesn't stop, does it? It just doesn't
Yeah.
stop. So here's the thing. I think Astrobot definitely gets a nomination here. I think that's a pretty safe one to just lock it in because 3D platformers in terms of direction when it gets this kind of praise, you just shove that in there. That's probably what's going to be in there.
It knew what it wanted to be
I also
and
want to
did a
say
fantastic
that
job.
I think that Astrobot is going to 100% have like 20 nominations and win fucking maybe one thing, and that's right. We'll get to that, yeah. But I think it's going to be nominated for a lot of things. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth again. I just think it's a gimme at this point. I know we infamously got Final Fantasy 16 in this category wrong last time, if I was right.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
it's a less busy year this year.
certainly.
And I'd go as far to say as if Final Fantasy 16 came out this year, it also would have probably got a nomination for this category 100% like this year as well.
Yeah,
Um,
probably.
Kyle, I've not played enough of Metaphor.
It's very good.
Do you think that it just
Well-
gets it again? It's one of the 90 plus games of this year. Do you think it just gets the gimme here?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I could see it. I could definitely see it being in here.
Yeah. Hunter, I'm going to come back to you for a little bit because there's a game that I forgot until I was looking at like best performance and stuff like that. That I forgot even came out this year. Hellblade 2.
Ooh.
I'm sticking that back in the back of my memory for that came out this year award because it's like prime fodder. Yeah, that was this year.
So I had that on here for a couple of other things. The problem here is that like I don't know if people really think about it for this one. I think
And
they
gelled with
should. I
it
think
as
it would
much as
make.
they did the
I
first
think.
one.
I think it would. It's the kind of category that like. If it were up to me, I would nominate it for. But I don't know if other people really would be thinking about it as much.
Mm,
Unfortunately,
okay. So we've got three
like
here.
between.
I think Silent Hill 2 is a good pick here, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah, like I was gonna say between Senua's Saga and Silent Hill, I'd say Silent Hill is more likely
I also
for
can't
that.
believe we're actually getting to this point of the year and we're actually having Silent Hill 2 in conversations. That's actually
Oh,
crazy.
it's
Like,
such a pleasant
I
surprise. I
know,
love it.
right? We've got one more slot. Anyone
Mm,
looking at a game that's like just like grabbing at you as if it's like pick me, because it's like here's the thing: is we're trying to game it here. If you don't know how the Game Awards work, essentially, it is every review outlet that is a part of the roster for Jeff Keighley's December Fun Fest. They all put a list of for each of these categories. They all submit a list of 5 games ranked first through fifth, and then it's based off of it's based off of all of that where the nominations come forward. Where it's like the top 5 that are picked based on the point scoring is how it works, right? So it's like we got to think what's a game that will be put on a lot of people's lists in like 3. Like that's what we're thinking of here because you can guarantee Astrobot, Rebirth, Metaphor, even Silent Hill, they'll all be in the 1, 2s, and 3s for a lot of outlets here. What's a 3 or a 4? Like this is like I'm just like trying to figure out here what would people chuck in.
See, and because I can't think of anything else, I could see this being, the Balatro slot now.
Yeah, an indie slot or like, how are we feeling on Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth?
I think like a
I
dragon
have no clue.
as a fan of Like a Dragon and as a fan who has not got that far in the series yet, I can guarantee you that this game is beloved by so many people. This is 100% going to be the one that got away, the one that just doesn't get nominated for anything this year. And I think the reason I would have been like 3 or 4 weeks ago, I would have been more eager to have put this on lists like this. But like we looked at the Golden Joy, if you looked at the Golden Joystick nominations, it wasn't.
Yeah.
They had like 12 nominations for Game of the Year, and Like a Dragon wasn't on there. So I'm like, okay, people are
Jeez.
really forgotten about this,
This was a
where
really good
people are
year, Hunter.
talking about 12. Well, no, there's Black Ops 6 got a nomination and Like a Dragon didn't, okay?
Jesus H Suburbia.
We're
This was a
talking.
year,
This was
Hunter.
a year.
Yeah.
I don't think it does, just because I think it might get put in another category, but I genuinely do think this game's going to be slept on a lot this year, which is a shame because it came out at the start. Tekken, I also think is going to get slept
Tekken?
on 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it gets its own category to win.
that's true. It gets the auto win in
It
best
gets a
fighting
gimme.
game.
It gets a gimme,
Like,
yeah.
fighting games usually don't win anything outside of that.
That's true.
So the only
Well,
games
what
I
about
can
for
think
Street
of
Fighter
here,
6?
the only game I can think of here is
Uh,
either Helldivers 2 or Balatro. That's it.
I
That's
think
what, and I think it'd be
Balatro has
Balatro.
kept the
Yeah.
steam.
So let's go with that.
Yeah. Cool.
Lock it in. Next up, Best Narrative, everybody's favorite category. It's for the Who Can Replicate Naughty Dog's Formula the Best award. Let's find out, shall we, kids? Again, let's get the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Metaphor. I think are both going to get nominated for this category.
Yeah.
Those are gimmies, right?
I don't agree with FF7, but I'll put it.
Well, just
the review
bad,
score.
everyone else
Yeah,
probably
It's
does.
not our picks, Kyle. It is
I
what we
know.
know. The
That's
normies are
like
gonna
how
pick.
it's too bad. It's real annoying that Life is Strange's reception was so frosty because,
I still would not
the
put it on
slam.
this. I still would not. I'm not. I refuse. I would 100%
usually
be there. Go, yeah. I'm like, usually it's a gimme, but this time I'm like,
Yeah,
we're
it'd
not
usually
even
be a
giving you
slam
the
dunk.
gimme nomination here. You need to learn your lesson. Don't crash the plane, Square Enix.
Imagine if it won this
Damn.
time when like True Colors lost to Guardians of the Galaxy back in that year. Stupid.
That is humorous. Um, Silent Hill
Warframe.
2 Hunter, how are you feeling on that? Do you think that has a shot?
Uh, well, Silent Hill 2, one of the best stories in video games. They told it very well this time, so assuming people aren't going, it's a remake, then yeah,
Have
I could see
remakes
it being.
had have any remakes been in best narrative before?
Most of them haven't really been narrative focused in the same way. Like Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 4 and Dead
Mhm.
Space aren't really the same kind of thing. So,
Do you think Senua gets a nom here? Do you think this is something where Senua could get a nom for narrative?
I think so. Even though, like, I understand that some people are like, I didn't like the story as much, but also there's not been a lot of narrative games like
I mean, we were
the
we were having this discussion last week where I'm like, we were talking about why we haven't done many spoiler casts this year, and since Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and I'm looking at it, there has not been a narrative game really between February and like Metaphor and Life is Strange coming out. It's like there's been plenty of good games, but there's not been many with a narrative focus this year.
yeah. So I could see
Sony's not
Senua
released
getting
one. I
in.
feel like this is the first year in like
Yeah,
a while where Sony hasn't even released a game with a narrative. Don't worry, they'll make
yeah.
up to us next year. But
So
yeah.
yeah, I could see Senua getting it here, getting a nomination here. Um,
Yeah. That's one, two, that's four, right? Has anyone got anything else that could potentially
If we just need a place filler, I was thinking Unicorn Overlord.
no. Kyle,
here's
you
one
gotta
that
fit
has a better
you,
shot:
you gotta
Dragon
fit
Age.
oh yes, that's it. There you go. Yeah, Dragon Age. That'll be there
Yeah.
you go.
Sorry,
I love
Kyle.
you
Don't
Kyle,
mean to
I love your
steamroll your
enthusiasm.
suggestion, but that's not seeing the light of day in this award show.
Hey man, I just said place filler.
Yeah, that's a good pick there. Dragon Age is a
I'm
good
used
one.
to having my ideas steamrolled in this show,
Hey,
so
and this isn't a what we're saying are the top 5 games here, right? Like we're saying this is what Jeff Keighley and his ragtag group of misfits will come together with at the end of it. And don't worry, I'm 100% sure that whatever list comes out, people will be mad because Black Myth Wukong isn't on it. So let's just keep moving on. What do you
best
mean?
art direction. Is this one we can put Unicorn Overlord in?
I don't. Here's the thing, Kyle. Is I think other than like best RPG, I think it might get a nomination in best RPG. Um, art direction, Rebirth again. I think will get one, even though it looked like fucking smeared Vaseline on a camera, dude. Like, yeah, buy your $700 console so they fucking rub the Vaseline off of it. But yeah, you know, um, I think Metaphor might
Yeah, I
again.
was gonna say Metaphor probably.
Astrobot.
I don't know. It's a pretty game. I'd like to think that it would, but also I've heard there's haters that don't like Astro's design and stuff like that. So who knows? You know?
Well, those haters exist for
Browns.
everything, Ethan.
Uh,
I'd like to think that it would, but I don't know.
I also think it would, because, I mean, just think like every level in that game just looks drastically different from each other.
Yeah, I'm fine with putting it. I did put it as an Astrobot question mark at the end of it. Senua's Saga, I feel like.
People like stylized photorealism quite a bit for
Yeah,
this category, and Senua's Saga is the most photorealistic stylization you could get.
it's just whether people remember it. Like I say, it took me forever to remember
Yeah.
that it even came out. And unless you're like Windows Central or whatever and have got like that fucking laser focus on the one Xbox game that came out this year, right? You're not gonna remember it, I feel like. It's
Yeah.
it's weird. But I'd like to think that if it gets nominated for any category, it would be this one.
Yeah. Well,
Because they've been showing it as the showcase for the Xbox Series X for 4 years.
since its
So yeah,
inception, yeah.
you'd hope so. Um Silent Hill.
it is a very visually distinct game.
I hate saying the
Yeah.
same 5 fucking games
Yeah.
over and over again, but it's that kind of
Jeez.
year. There isn't, like,
There isn't a lot to pick from
Nightfall, Silent Hill,
as far
Silent
as,
Hill,
like
Astrobot. That's literally all I had with art direction. The only one I can think of, and again, is but this is like what you got to remember is, guys, we're not predicting who's going to win or whatever. Nominations, this process of who gets nominated, this isn't players' choice. Players don't have a single fucking impact on this until the day, until people start voting for winners, right? I can 100% people will start to say, because it was a nice looking video game, I'm sure people will start saying that Black Myth Wukong was robbed because it was a pretty
Mhm.
game, because it's on the PS5, and look at that monkey. He kind of looks like a very high fidelity monkey. Like, that's it. But, you know, I don't think, I feel like reviewers just, I don't know if Black Myth Wukong is a great game or not, because I haven't had a chance to play it, but it seems like reviewers just kind of shoveled that one away as if to, you know, like, just pushed it under the rug, no matter how much fans really liked it and how many units it sold. It kind of got the Hogwarts Legacy treatment of just the shove under the rug and forget about it. I think it's those 5. Well, has anyone got a disagreement with that one? I don't know.
Nah, nothing alternative is coming up there, so
Right. Score music. This is for a game that has some tunes. Rebirth will get a nom again here. Final Fantasy soundtracks always do. I think Astrobot will as well, because God, what a great soundtrack. Here's one that hasn't, a game that hasn't been mentioned yet, but Hunter, you'll have to give us your thoughts on this one, because this franchise seems to always get a nomination when it comes to music at some stage. The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. Do you think the Zelda soundtrack is good enough to get on a list this year?
You know, I think there are some really cool arrangements in the game. It's one of those things where because like it's the top-down 2D thing, I think people might be like, "Ah, yeah." Because like I don't think Link's Awakening got a nomination in this category,
Mm.
if I remember correctly, when that came out.
Yeah,
But, you
that's
know,
fine. Like, I feel like here's what we're talking about here is with Atlas games is because Atlas has banger soundtracks, dude. Like, if it was up to me, I'd nominate both Persona and Metaphor here. But I
yeah.
feel like Metaphor is just going to get the nomination, and Persona 3 Reload is, we sweep that under the rug as well, of pretending
Yeah,
it
it is
never existed, which is a
little
I mean, I'd
shame.
players.
rather give it to Metaphor over P3, just because Metaphor's new.
Yeah, same. But yeah, I mean, I think it will be Metaphor. I think Metaphor will probably get one then, even though I think this, from what I've heard so far anyway, I think the soundtrack's a bit overrated. I think it's great. I don't think it's the best fucking RPG soundtrack I've ever heard. Um, if anything, the chanting that everybody's going fucking bananas about started to annoy me within an hour of fucking playing. So I was like, well, that's not going to get on my nerves for the next 60 hours, is it?
Nah, the chanting's fun.
Yeah.
You're just a little hater.
I am a little hater, dude. It turns out the fucking the psycho guttural chanting gets annoying for me after 2 hours. What can I say, Kyle? What can I say? Have I got anything
So I
else?
guess
No.
here's one to pose. How much of do you think people will be silly enough to nominate Hades 2 even though it's in
No.
early access?
No.
Okay.
No chance in hell. I think that game is 100%. Everyone is like, it's gonna be the least surprising thing in history where we play through early access. Everyone's like, wow, they've done it again, an absolutely banging game, like 99 out of 100. And then it releases on a
Yeah.
random Tuesday. Everyone's already written all their reviews months ago. It goes out and it'll be nominated for Game of the Year on that year. Like, that's just what's going to happen with Hades 2.
And most of its awards, yes. Mhm.
If it comes out next year, it'll be nominated for Game of the Year next year. I think that when full release happens is
Definitely.
when it will get nominated. I don't think it'll get nominated this year.
You see, that's what I would hope for as well. It's just also like, the gaming press has surprised me with their silliness before.
No. Um, No, I can't think of anything really. Best soundtrack, Elden Ring. People like Elden Ring. I'm trying to do we just shove Elden Ring in random spots where we can't think of anything else? Because I'm like, I love the
Silent
Helldivers
Hill 2 has
soundtrack,
one of the
but
best soundtracks ever, and they're all new arrangements this time too. So
will
be
people
another
put
one
it
where it
though?
just shows up. I don't know. People, the Silent Hill, very famous for its music.
I don't know. I've heard. I've just heard it's pretty quiet around there. That's all I know, dude. That's all I've heard. They would have called it Music Hill if the music was good, Hunter. That's all I'm saying, dude. Fuck you.
Yeah, dude, it's called Silent Hill, not Loud Hill.
Anyway, has anyone got a fifth? Then are we just gonna go with Silent Hill again and go do? It's the same 5 fucking games. I feel like we need to be a bit more like I say. I think Elden Ring's gonna be chucked in here somewhere in some of these where you don't like it.
Hmm.
We'll
I
see.
can see Tekken 8 probably going in here.
What, best music?
Yeah, have you heard Tekken music?
Yeah, but have you heard of a Tekken fan? There's like 5 of them. You think they're gonna get this on the list?
Bro, I don't know.
I mean, I guess we could throw Zelda on there.
Do you have another suggestion,
No, like
Mr. Floating Head?
it's actually it's actually Mr. Turtleneck. Like that's what I'm going for. No, I don't know. If you want to, you go with it. You go with your gut. But if you're wrong, then I'm gonna roll my sleeves up and
If I'm wrong, kick me off the show.
no. You'd like that too much. We have to come up with a better punishment. Audio design. Silent Hill 2. Now this is one that I think Silent Hill 2 will be nominated for.
It's slam dunk the winner as far as everything I've played this year.
I thought Hellblade 2 might also get a nom here because of the creepy
yeah, they still do that
in the
really
ears.
well.
The scary ASMR.
Yeah.
See, Final Fantasy 7, not really. Metaphor, also not really. I feel like these aren't categories where RPGs really get anything of value.
Astro, how are we feeling on Astro for this?
Whether people think about it, I would, because I just think of all the extra. The problem with Astro is like in any other game, here's the thing with any other platformer, and this is not to be spiteful towards like a 3D Mario or something like that, but it feels like even though Astrobot is like half the length of a 3D Mario game, it's like they've put so much love and care into absolutely everything that they've kind of mastered everything that they're going for. Whereas like just listening to the sounds of Astro running on metal or on wood, or just the way that everything kind of works, where I'm like, nah, they've done an excellent job of every little thing that they've tried to achieve here, where it's like it'd be very easy to go, what the fuck you on about? Why the hell would Mario Odyssey be put into for best audio design? Like that's not gonna happen. But with Astro, I'm like, pretty good. The sounds are pretty good. I don't know what other games we'd say for audio design, to be honest. There's not really anything that's been grabbing me this year in terms of audio. Like I say, definitely not Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Definitely not Metaphor. I'd be damned to fuck it. If Metaphor was on here for best audio design, I'd be offended because Atlas's audio mix is garbage and always has been. We have to go I have to go straight into the settings and go music down 2 bars, like straight away. Everything's
have to
just
do the
deafening.
same thing with Final Fantasy.
Yeah, but Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was worse. It was horrendous.
Not to mention, they get like the anti-sound design award because of their cacophonous ambient dialogue.
Right.
Stand in one place for too long in the middle of the first chapter, and everyone's like, "Oh, Sephiroth! Can't wait to meet Sephiroth!"
Metaphor does the same thing.
So yeah, exactly. Death to
That needs to stop
JRPGs.
being a thing.
I was having a conversation with a friend who was like, "Where are the games this year? Where's the source?" And I'm like, "I'm afraid it's only JRPGs." So it's like, which is great because JRPGs can be great, but also they also all share the same fucking faults and quirks where it's like, well, if you get irritated by the same 2 lines of dialogue being repeated 50 times at you in 3 minutes,
Like
have
I could
fun.
tolerate
For
it
real?
if it was like one of those things where,
That's
like
messed up.
the
That's messed up.
Skyrim people where it's triggered by walking by them and not like just standing in one spot.
Yeah,
Uh,
kind of crazy. Do you know what I've learned this year is when we were doing this is looking at all these games and I'm like, man, I keep thinking, I'm like, was 2024 a good year for games? I'm like, it was good, but 2023 just made this year feel lesser just by existing. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I feel like last year we had like 18 different games we could put up for every category and go, oh, this is tough. What do you think? And it was like, when Final Fantasy 16 wasn't nominated, you were like, okay, kind of makes sense because of this or whatever. And it's like, even when Starfield got shafted on everything, everyone's like, yeah, that's fair. Fair enough.
yeah.
Whereas this year, if a Starfield did come out, I think people will be like, "Oh, it's controversial," but we're running out. We have too many slots to fill. Maybe something can happen here. Um, it's also hard because, and I'm not blaming Jeff here, but I feel like Western kind of awards and stuff like that really don't like giving Japanese games their dues unless they are from Soft or Nintendo most of the time. So it's
Or
like,
Kojima.
or Kojima. So it's like, it
Yeah.
feels weird to have like
The Holy
Square
Trinity.
and Atlas like
Yeah,
being in
it's just
positions where
like
they could be nominated for everything, but I'm still sitting here going, I feel like in Jeff's head, he feels like 3 people play these, and we had to try really hard to get Xenoblade 3 a nomination in 2022. And that felt like a gimme. He was like, there, you see, look, there's a piece of recognition, a nomination.
just a crumb.
One of the highest
Ugh.
reviewed games of the fucking year. Yeah.
And it still lost best score in music to God of War.
Oh, that's so hear me. I love Bear as a composer. He's fantastic, but fuck off, dude. That like said it's
Yeah.
Xenoblade 3 soundtrack is genuinely the best Xenoblade. The fuck off. Like I disagree with that. Like actually annoys me. Anyway, I can't think of anything else for audio design. So if you want to chuck something
I
fucking
also
in,
can't.
go in.
Oh wait, we already got Silent Hill.
Yeah, we
Yeah, Silent Hill
Shit.
Senua.
Helldivers 2.
Because
That's got some good sounds to it. Squishy, squashy bugs and everybody killing themselves, bombs everywhere. That's got some fun sounds.
this could probably be one where you toss in Elden Ring.
Yeah,
Just because.
yeah, go for it. I mean, looking back at it
Oh.
now, I'm like, we probably could have chucked Elden Ring in art direction as well, because Elden Ring just immaculate dreams,
Too late.
Too late. We're locked in.
Too
Look,
late. We're moved on.
it's best
Can't
performance.
change text.
It's best performance time where I have literally got nothing written so far because that's the kind of year it's been. I would say there'll probably be a nomination from Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. My guess would be either Aerith or Cloud.
Yep.
Yeah, it's probably gonna go to Brianna White. Yeah. That's her name, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's go with Brianna White then.
Melina Jurgens from Senua.
Yeah, that was the other one. Thank you for taking the 2 gimmies. Now,
Luke Summerton, I think was his last name, that did James and Silent Hill.
yeah, that's not a bad shout.
Uh,
Is there anyone from? I don't even know if there is anyone from Metaphor that really.
See, that's the problem with like I wouldn't be shocked if like Dragon Age had one. I just don't know who like the character is right now. Like, last year it was pretty easy to guess that it would be Astarion from Baldur's Gate that would be the nomination for.
Yeah, but also from, and this is not
that.
this is not to shun anybody's performances here because it's like I love Brianna White in Final Fantasy VII. I love all the cast in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. If it was up to me, this whole slot would just be filled with the 5 main characters of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I'd be happily go, yeah, Cloud, Aerith, Tifa, Barrett, and Red 13. Oh no, actually Yuffie. Yuffie, you can go in there as well. There you go. Have fun. That's my nominations. But it's like it's really difficult this year because it's like there have been some great performances, but nothing that's like hugely stood out to me. Where it's like last year, I could tell you for a fact that it's like, yeah, Ben Starr's going to get a nomination. Yes, I can't remember his name, but Astarion from Baldur's Gate 3, of course that's going to be
Neil
nominated.
Newbon.
Yeah, Neil Newbon. It's like Yuri Lowenthal or Najijeta from Spider-Man 2 is going to be nominated. Only one of them, right? Right? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Like you have to do that with Jeff, where you're like, don't nominate more than one from the Sony game, Jeff. Come on.
though,
But
he doesn't have the chance to do that this year.
yeah, because there is no one. Don't worry though, he'll have plenty from next year where I'm sure he'll
Next year
nominate.
they're getting
Ne-
3.
Next year it'll be like it'll be everybody. It'll be Norman Reedus. It'll be Al Fanning. It'll be like everybody that's in Death Stranding 2 on the beach. Like just every fucking on the planet.
Then all of Ghost of Yota.
And then Erika Ishii from Ghost of Yota. Yeah, like that'll be who it is, right? I have no clue in terms of other performances. Like I'm not trying to say that there's been like, because in my perfect world, I'm like, Robinson from Persona 3. Like his Junpei was fantastic. Like genuinely, like, there's so many good characters in Persona. Where I'm
in
like,
my world, it would have been Alejandro Sab for Persona 3.
yeah, like
Well, I mean, on Persona 3, like I was kind of thinking Dawn Bennett as Aegis. I mean, she had base game and episode Aegis.
But will it get
to work with.
nominated? Will it get like?
I
That's
don't
the
know,
thing.
dude.
I don't.
We got slots to fill.
We have, but also I'm number one Aegis hater on this podcast, so I'm like
number 2. Sit down, son.
No.
3rd. And like
I will fight
episode
for the
episode Aegis is doing nothing for that argument. 4
yeah, if
people
anything,
played
it's
it,
made me
and 2
hate
of them
him
are on
more,
the
yeah.
show.
And this is the problem. Is Like a Dragon. It's like, no, I'm not giving noms for the dub. Like that's like Yakuza is like the one game where it's like, the Western audience was told it was like, this is the game you play. You listen to the subs and you're gonna like it. And then in like the last 2, they're like, okay, we'll give you a dub option as well. And I'm like, no, it doesn't feel right. You've given me 9 games with sub only, and then you're telling me nah. So it's like a Dragon. I don't see it. Obviously, no voice acting in Astro. Is there a standout character in Metaphor, Kyle? Do you think there's a standout?
Probably go with Hulkenberg's voice actress, Kristen Atheron.
Go for that then. Yeah, go for that.
Just because I think she's the most standout one of the group.
Yeah. How many are on now?
4.
No. I guess we'll just leave. No. So what are the 4 that we have? Did you include Dawn Bennett there?
No.
Okay.
No, you guys yelled at me, so I didn't put it down.
Fuck it, we can't sit here all day on it. Just put it there and we'll take the L. We'll take the L when it's from some fucking random game that we've never played. Best indie game.
All right.
I don't want to say that I feel like I've nailed this, but I feel like this is the only category where I was like, oh, I've got 5 here, and I think there's a high chance that these will be the 5. But Hunter, go on. You can start.
I was gonna start with Balatro.
Yeah.
Lucky Squire.
Yeah.
Animal Well.
Yeah. My other 2 were Thank Goodness You're Here. Which is like it's the weird one that's like set like the British one that a load of reviewers. Don't know if you guys saw it before, but it got a lot of buzz.
I have a vague idea of what you're talking about.
It's got a 10 out of 10 on Steam right now. But it's very Monty Python kind of like old British humor. It's got an 85 on OpenCritic. It's like this 2D artwork and stuff like that. It's very pretty. I think that'll be one of them. And then was it UFO 50? What was it? It was like that other game that was like UFO 50. Yeah, it's UFO 50, which is like a video. Is it? Let's have a look. UFO 50 is a video game collection developed and published by Mossmouth. Yeah, fictional year of release where they basically just made a load of fake like arcade games. And it has an OpenCritic score of it has a Metacritic score of 92 out of 100. People really loved it.
I was gonna say, off of OpenCritic here, it only has like 16 reviews is the issue.
But what other notable indie games will come out this year? That's my thing.
Crab Treasure was good on my
maybe
shotgun of things there.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind swapping UFO 50 for another Crab's Treasure, but
like that one score isn't as high, but it has substantially more. It had substantially more attention.
Yeah, but you know, if all 15 of the people that voted for like gave UFO 50 that review or whatever, or are in Jeff Keighley's little fucking brigade, then it doesn't really matter, does it? I'm happy to put another Crab's Treasure. I'm happy to put that instead.
I think that's more likely.
We'll go with that then. I definitely think that Thank Goodness You're Here will get a nomination though. That's got 51 critic reviews. If that's enough for your approval, Hunter.
Yeah, I think that one.
If that pleases you, sire, can we please put that in the nomination list?
Yes, that one wasn't the one that was in dispute.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'd ask Kyle, but you know, we know that that's not necessarily your forte, Kyle. But you know what is your forte, Kyle? Action games. What have you got for us, buddy? What have you got? All of them.
Yeah,
all 5 of them.
No, known action gamer right here.
Right, I'm just gonna
You bring up Devil May Cry more often than I do.
I'm gonna just say this to you right now. Put Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree in here, it will get a nomination for this category. This is the category that it will get. I assume that they would put it under action game. This is where we have the conversation again of we've all learnt from last year, right? I was right. They will count Final Fantasy as an RPG still to the end of time, so we know where that one's going. But Elden Ring, where would you put it, Hunter? Would you put it in action?
I think if for no other reason than people will put it in action because the RPG slots is actually already,
kind of stacked a bit. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But also, no, it was mainly between action and action adventure. I'm like, there won't be idiots that put it in action adventure, will they? I feel like it's more.
I don't think they would.
Black Myth Wukong will probably get a nomination here as well, if I'm honest with you. I feel like this is where it will get a nomination. Stellar Blade. Yeah.
I hate to say this because I hate this series. I hate its whole existence because it offends me every time I see it. Space Marine.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
No.
Space
Marine.
Okay. I thought, I like how you thought he was going to say Five Nights at Freddy's, and I thought he was going to say Black Ops 6. I was going to be like, what fucking dystopian world are we in here?
No. Space Marine got enough attention.
Yeah, I agree.
And it was recent enough that I think it'll get there. Because Ghost Runner got very mediocre reviews last year, and I think it landed on this category.
Do you think Black Ops 6 then will get a nom?
Yeah.
Because it's the most positive reviewed Call of Duty in about fucking 16 years. So do you think it will just by default?
It does. We've failed as a society.
I'm further along in the campaign now than I was when we did the first impressions, and I'll say that if you like first person shooter stories, then it's a pretty good one. Where it's like, okay, fair enough. I wouldn't be as offended. Like if you came to me and said like Modern Warfare 2 or 3 from like the last couple of years got a nom, then I would be getting the gun out. I would be getting ready to persona my way out of this existence. But Black Ops 6, what do we have any other action games that we can think of?
Because I was like, not willing to consider Black Ops as an option. I had Rise of the Ronin.
I was kind of thinking that too.
I feel like Rise of the Ronin is just going to be forgotten, though. I feel like that's just a game that everyone's going to forget existed because I forgot existed.
I mean, it's let's be. The action adventure.
Do you think Sony's paying Jeff enough money, Hunter? Do you think the ponies have got enough money to get this?
It would be funny, but yeah, it's like the action adventure category split here is always the problem. Where suddenly it's like there's two that are going to be on each of them, and then.
Well, I've got one that'll be on the action adventure. That I think.
Then the other ones are like, oh, because the categories are stupid. This game that no one's thought about since its release has been nominated.
Yeah, but I'm like, I don't know. I like I say, I think that it's like Black Ops 6 and Rise of the Ronin kind of fulfill the same kind of role, and Black Ops 6 was newer, so I feel like it's just gonna have a higher I'll happily walk out here and make a formal apology if I'm wrong on this one. I will, I will come back in black as a floating head and apologize.
No, it's okay. You can have this one because the reality is, Black Ops gets a lot of attention.
Well, it's because they try a little bit. It's like I feel like it's like every 3 to 4 years when a Black Ops game shows up, it kind of reminds people that there are like there's a little corner office in Call of Duty HQ where they're allowed to have like one good idea every 4 years, and then it gives people a little bit of hope, and then they shove them back in the fucking broom cupboard for another 4 years, and you go, battle pass, Warzone, gun go boom, like for then the following half a decade. Action adventure. This is one that I always find really hard. I feel like there's a high
Dude, especially
likelihood.
without a Sony game this year, but
I feel
Silent
like
Hill
there's a
2.
chance that Echoes of Wisdom could be put in here.
Yeah, Echoes of Wisdom, very good chance. I think a platformer doesn't have its own category, does it?
No, but I feel like that's family
Yeah, it's called
game.
Best Family Game.
Do you think Astrobot counts as an
Astrobot,
action
yeah.
adventure? Yeah, I think so too. I feel like
It's
it might-
definitely an adventure.
Yeah, we'll go with that. You shoot a gun at some point. You play as fucking Nathan Drake. Nathan Drake could be in this category, so there you go, veto.
And you play as God of War.
Yeah, but he'd be an
And
action game.
Aloy.
Can you tell the difference? Can you tell the difference? This is like Dora the Explorer. Like, why is there not a
What?
Dora Explorer episode that's like, can you tell the difference? Because because God of War will be an action, and Nathan Drake and Uncharted will be an action adventure. It's like, can you tell the difference? They're fundamentally the same fucking game.
This category pisses me off so much.
It's so
dude.
stupid.
Why does
man.
it exist?
But anyway,
Jeff,
speaking of fundamentally the same, and this got passed over while we were talking about other ones, but Silent Hill 2, off of the back of Resident Evil 4, got this nomination last year.
What for? Yeah, but I can see is it an action adventure?
Yes,
I can see Resident Evil 4 being an action adventure though. It's Silent Hill, like.
Yes.
Okay.
They do the same things. Resident Evil 4 leaned harder into the action part. So
yeah, but I wouldn't describe. Here's the thing: is at the end of the day, even though it's got the spooky Las Plagas people just going Las Plagas in the corner for every fucking
Las Plagas
for 30 hours, it's like to me, Resident Evil 4 is I can see it as an action adventure because take away the half a dozen scary-ish moments. At the end of the day, it's just Leon drop kicking people for 20 hours.
See, my opinion is that no, you're misunderstanding. I'm not saying that it's disqualified because it's a horror game. I'm saying that on the action adventure part of this split, it would be more of an action game.
Yeah. But I say, is it more Uncharted or more God of War, Hunter? This is the question that we must ask ourselves in this.
Well, Resident Evil 4 was fun to play, so I do think it lands closer to God of War.
Hunter, you're gonna have plenty of time to have these discussions because once we're in Trump's America, the tax is gonna go so far up. You're not gonna have new games, so you're just gonna be having this discussion forever. So it's fine. Silent Hill 2 can go on the board. It's fine. I disagree though. If anything, I think we should put it in RPG for shits and giggles. You know what I'm saying? Like the world's coming to an end. Let's just fucking do it. As far as I'm concerned, let's just
fuck it. Put it in Family Game.
Yeah, it's my. Give it to all the families that voted red this season, dude. That's what I'm saying. There you go. Here you go, little Timmy. Learn some decent values with the Silent Hill 2 remake. Have fun. There you go. Anyway. Have we done enough?
Prince of Persia.
It sounds like you're taking this harder than we are over here.
Fine. It's fine.
Prince of Persia.
Prince of Persia.
No, but do you think Ubisoft will like that?
Who cares? They're stupid.
Who cares?
They've already shot that team to death. They've already put them out the back. Bang! Rayman game. Here we go. Cool. Role-playing game.
You think Plucky?
What? Plucky?
We still have a slot. Ethan.
Oh yeah, Plucky Squire. Plucky Squire. I feel like Plucky Squire.
There you go.
That's not a bad shout. We'll go with that then.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw, cowboy. Best role-playing game.
Sing the song, everybody.
Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, Metaphor Fantasio, Dragon Age the Veil God, Dragon's Dogma 2.
Yeah, probably.
I feel like this is where that game shows up. Again, I think that's going to be an underrated one where
I think it's mostly forgotten about, but
I think it will get a nomination here. Fifth slot. Again, I think Persona 3 Reload's just gonna get fucking forgotten the entire time.
Yeah.
I think that's just what's gonna happen.
Like, I think Metaphor just overshadows P3 Remake.
Yeah.
There's Elden Ring DLC, and there's...
Oh, nah, that's an action game. That's an action game. We're fine.
That's true. And a game can't be two things.
Nope.
So,
unless you're an action-adventure game, then
in
you
which
can
case,
be two things.
you're only allowed to
Maybe.
be one. Still,
I hate that way. It's like the genre is action/adventure, and then you've got action games.
Just call it adventure.
No, because adventure games are point and clicks. We have that genre, but only Tim Schafer makes them once a decade. Like, we've got nothing there.
I've got nothing
Hey,
left.
Can you tell me how God of War plus Grim Fandango equals God of War Ragnarok? Can we get to that, please? Like, stupid. Fucking.
Yeah, it's a dumb category. You think Like a Dragon gets a morsel of acknowledgement here?
I feel like it sooner gets acknowledgement than Unicorn does.
I hate to say it, Kyle. I hate to say it. I just don't think it's your year, because I think this is the only year.
No, it's not. This
is like the first year in like ages, Kyle, where like 7 million JRPGs all came out in one year and nothing else. So it's like, I feel like if
whatever, dude.
Don't worry, Kyle.
I've said my piece in my year-end list this year.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's full of fucking 70s and 80s.
That's that's pretty sick. Let's move.
Speaking of my year-end list,
what fighting game?
Let's talk about fighting games.
I've got 2.
Well, there are at least 4.
Okay, cool.
Depending on what the game of the year cutoff is.
I had Tekken 8.
Yeah.
Rivals of Ether 2.
Oh shit! I forgot about that.
Dragon Ball Z.
Yep, Dragon Ball.
And then Under Night, whatever
Uni
it's
2.
called.
Mm-hmm.
And are games from December of last year included in this?
Oh, last year, yes. If people have voted for it,
yes.
What will it be?
Because the only other fighting game that can fit this category is Grand Blue versus Rising.
Go for it.
That came out
if you think that people are going to remember that, and they're not going to put, like, I don't know.
Well,
some game that like TMT shout, TMNT.
If someone else wants to name a fighting game that came out this year, be my fucking guest.
I was just very proud of myself.
We all know it's going to Tekken anyway, so who cares?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. You could put.
I was proud of thinking of another one.
Again.
Yeah. Did you have one, Hunter?
No.
Okay.
And it's nice to have a fighting game category of 5 fighting games.
That's what you think. Wait till you
get
to.
That's crazy. Oh yeah, and
hang on. What would you do? Hang on. Can I put a wild card out here? Because I thought this would be the funniest thing ever. That Batman Arkham VR game getting put in there.
What?
Batman Arkham Shadow has like the free throw combat system. I'm like, that's like a Sifu pick right there. If someone's dumb enough. Like, I'm not saying that we should put it there.
You need more than 5 people to play the VR game.
Oh yeah, 10 people have played it. We're fine. Don't worry about it. I'm not saying it will. I say we stick with that. But I was like, I just want to put that as in like the monkey's paw thing, where if that happens, it's the end of the world, ladies and gentlemen. I'm putting that one out there. Best family game. Astrobot.
Well. Yeah.
Sonic and Shadow Generations.
Oh yeah, people actually like that one.
Yeah. And then, obviously, over half the category has to be Nintendo. That's the rule. So it's like, what Nintendo games have you got here? I've got Princess Peach Showtime. My guess would be Super Mario Party Jamboree.
Yeah, probably.
And then my other one was Paper Mario, just because I was like, the new Mario and Luigi doesn't seem to be doing too hot, really, in terms of reviews. It seems to have come across as, like, every other Mario spin-off. I think it has, like, a 79, like every other one of them. And Paper Mario kind of served that purpose, but a little bit better, so I felt like that was probably...
Yeah, that's probably more likely.
Yeah.
The shot. That's what I would go with. I don't know if you guys can think of another family game that came out this year.
Probably not.
There's plenty from Nintendo and stuff like that, I know, but those were the three that I was like, yeah. And then Astro, I think, is a gimme, and Sonic makes sense. Sonic's been nominated plenty of times for worst games. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah, sounds good to me. Innovations and accessibility. We're not doing this, are we, this year? Because we can't think of any.
No, we skipped that.
Cool. Players vote. Can't remember. Did we wildcard this last year? Is that on the list? Did we wildcard this last year?
Yeah, we
We
did
did it.
this.
Cool. So this is where we have to get into the mind. Guys. Okay, zone in. Use your big brains. Pinpoint your location, right? You got to remember, okay? You ready? You ready to role play? Average Asmon Gold viewer. What are they voting for, guys? What are they voting for? Black Myth Wukong. Black Myth Wukong. Get it on the list. Get it on the list. 5 times. 5 times. That's all that matters.
Stellar Blade.
Stellar Blade.
Stellar Blade. Yeah, that's another one. Helldivers 2, I think probably will get in on this. This is probably the one that will get on.
Elden Ring.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, it will. There you go. Yeah. Is that 4?
That's 4.
I mean, if we're picking one of the normie ones, like usually there's like one normie one, and then they're all like, "What the fuck are these 7 out of 10 video games doing here on this list?"
Yeah.
Then I'd probably go with 7 Rebirth. That's probably the one that'll get, because they'll be like horny anime girls. Hell yeah, yeah. There you go. That's where I go. Again, as average Asmongold fan, doesn't clean my room in 16 years. Like, there we go. That's where I'm going. Big brain. Lock it in. Second penultimate one, ladies and gentlemen. Most anticipated game. GTA 6. Write that one down.
6.
Yeah, write that down. Death Stranding 2. Write that one down too.
Doom.
Ooh.
Doom. We'll write it in the big box.
Monster Hunter Wilds.
That's a good one.
And then I've got 3 games here, and I'll put them in the order of recency bias, right? So it's like what comes out closer to the date and what comes out later. So the 3 that I had as maybe normie games that people care about are, was it still coming out in February, Assassin's Creed Shadows. But here's my caveat on this, why I don't think it might be as likely, is I can't remember with most anticipated if this is 100% a viewer based one, because if it is, there was a load of fucking idiots that were going about, you know, Gamergate 2.0 was having the right hate train on this one, so I feel like, you know, asterisk on that one. Metroid Prime 4, because it has a 2025 date. And Borderlands, because that's a normie pick, and that's also supposed to be coming out next year. Has anyone else got any other ones that they can think of that have got some semblance of appeal, whether we agree with it or not?
I like Metroid for this category.
Metroid makes sense.
The only one I could also think about is Pokemon Legends, but you know, again,
who actively anticipates Pokemon games? It's just something you all do because of habit at this point.
Yeah.
They do it. They're little Pokemon freaks. All they do is play Pokemon. That's all they do. They're just there. They're on their 5th Nintendo Switch because Scarlet and Violet has broken 5 of them, and they're just like, yeah. But
no, Metroid makes sense. I feel like the early access thing puts a dampener on Hades this time.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like a lot of players will think they've got it already.
Yeah. So they're probably not gonna that's not gonna spring to mind as much.
Ghost of Yotei.
Yeah.
People love Ghost. As much as we hate to admit it, people love Ghost. And that's now announced.
Yeah. And that is the PlayStation game.
So it takes precedence. Here's the thing, right? Monster Hunter is... GTA and Monster Hunter are locked because you don't fuck with Japan when it comes to Monster Hunter, right? That game will sell 60 million copies within 5 minutes. So we just think, like, that'll be there. So will GTA 6.
Yeah.
I'd be willing to shoot Death Stranding off this list.
What are the other three? So you got GTA
Doom
6.
and
Death Stranding, Doom,
Metroid.
and Prime 4.
You think Doom will be on there?
Doom was just one I was throwing out because people like Doom and it's coming out next year.
See, if I was a betting person, then I would take Doom off and replace Doom.
Yeah. Doom probably gets replaced by Ghost, even though Doom is 100% gonna review better than Ghost.
I don't know. Is there a part of me that also thinks that, Metroid hype is false and maybe Doom has a bigger fan base than Metroid? I don't know.
Well, I mean, I put Prime
that's
4
very
anticipated
true,
because
but
we've been hearing about this game
Yeah,
for
but also,
yeah,
1,000
it's
years
got
at this
the
point.
it's got the unicorn appeal. It's got the Nintendo fans who don't actually have to buy anything to be able to talk about it appeal yet.
It's
okay.
got the releasing with the
If you wanna-
Switch 2 appeal.
If you want to, well, that's not confirmed. If you want to put
More
it on there,
likely.
fair enough. But I want to say that if it's not on there and Doom is, then recency bias wins again because that game's got a date. And people like to reach out for things when they have a date. Unless they're GTA 6, then they'll just keep reaching out for that for fucking 10 years and still not get it.
Zelda show up for this category like 3 years in a row.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
It's not been announced yet though, Hunter, so you're gonna have to wait your turn for that.
No, I mean that had no date and showed up for 3 years
Yeah,
in
but
a
that
row.
was the GTA 6. Now GTA 6 has taken on that mantle.
No.
And then after that, God knows what will take up the mantle then. Maybe Metroid Prime when it gets delayed another fucking year. Anyway,
Where do we put Hollow Knight Silk Song on there, actually?
I honestly think, and I hate to say this for Team Cherry, I honestly think that after this year, I think hype's kind of died a bit for it. And I think people are now just like, I'm sure it'll do fine and everyone will be like, hooray, it's out when its shadow drops, when it's next shown, because I think they can't. I don't think they can do that anymore. I don't think they can show another trailer and then put a year on it. I think they literally have to either release a trailer and shadow drop it or release a trailer and go, it's out in a month or 2 months. There you go. We're done. Thank you. I think the hype's kind of dead. I think people are sick of the Silk Song kind of copium. I think they're done with that. I think they're just ready for the game to be announced and released. I think it's been in this category for too long now. I think it's like, I think it's over. You can say what you want about Zelda Hunter, but at least it went like coming out 2022 to no, we're going out 2023. Like there was a date to keep you going on it. Silk Song's just dead. My hope is that it shadow drops at the Game Awards. That's my hope still for the fantasy draft. But a man can dream. Although that'd be really bad for Anton Blast because it's the same day. So, it's like, that'd be really bad for Anton Blast.
R.I.P. Anton Blast.
If that happened, yeah. Anyway, Game of the Year, ladies and gentlemen. If you've listened this far, you probably know the song and dance already. So, sing along if you know the words. Astro Bot, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Metaphor Refantasio. Balatro, I think, gets a nomination for Game of the Year. It will not win, but
this
there
is
has
not
to
a
be
year
spot.
that snubs the indie spot this time.
There is always an indie spot.
Except for last year.
Except for last year. But this year there will be. That's 4, right?
That's 4.
What are we saying to the others then? Silent Hill 2, I guess, because we mentioned it so much.
Yeah, if we think it's getting nominated for this many categories, realistically, you'd have to think it's getting nominated for Game of the Year, too.
All right, well, that's every game we put in Best Game Direction. Put in Game of the Year.
That's what happens every year. That happens every year.
So
check the receipts. I don't think it'll be Hellblade because it was too divisive.
Yeah.
Echoes of Wisdom won't.
Yeah, that didn't really make a splash beyond just the typical.
Black Myth Wukong won't.
No shot.
Like a Dragon, I don't think will either, just because it'll be forgotten. I'd like to be wrong though. Won't be Animal Well because they won't let more than one indie in. We know the rules. Tekken 8 would be an easy pick if People were normal.
fighting games cared.
Yeah.
If people cared about fighting games.
Helldivers 2. There's always one that gets nominated for like Game of the Year, and then like one other category, and you're like, what the fuck is happening? You know, like...
Yeah, or one that really doesn't make sense, like Resident Evil 8.
Or Spider-Man 2, when it's where they're just sitting there with like the goats, and you're like, yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Or there's always one where it's like, looking back after the years where it's like, you'd assume that if it got nominated for Game of the Year, it was in the upper 80s to 90s in the review scores, and then it'll be like mid to low 80s, like Plague Tale or even Ghost of Tsushima. People think.
If I was a betting person, like I would say that it was either Helldivers 2 or Tekken 8. Those would be my two that I would lean towards at this very moment. I don't know. I would like to think, because, Street Fighter got a nom.
Did it?
Did it?
In this last year in Game of the Year? No.
So what?
I believe the nomination
did?
Yeah, I believe it was Baldur's Gate, Zelda, Mario, Spider-Man, Resident Evil.
Fuck off, but
yeah, Baldur's Gate, Alan Wake 2, Tears of the Kingdom,
Alan Wake 2,
Spider-Man 2, Resi 4, and Mario Wonder.
Yeah.
I know 2 of those games do not deserve to be there as much.
Bro, Street Fighter 6 got nothing last year.
Yeah,
except for fighting game.
It didn't even get into best fucking art direction. It didn't get best innovation and accessibility.
Oh yeah, you told us that story about
Tekken
the
8.
blind
What
man.
we
the
thinking?
blind guy at Evo? Hell yeah.
What we thinking, guys? Gun to your head. What we thinking? 6th slot.
Not Tekken. I don't think that Tekken gets it.
I'd sooner give it to Helldiver over Tekken. Because I'm just looking at like best reviewed games of the year, and it's like
Persona 3 gets counted by Persona 3 gets counted by metaphor.
Yeah.
You can't have more than one indie game on the list. Fighting games don't exist. Dragon Age?
Yeah.
I could see that squeaking by with this number 6. It's annoying because if it was reviewed more unanimously well, it'd be a slam dunk to be the winner. But I could still see it getting nominated.
Yeah.
Well, no, because if everybody liked it, it would be the kind of thing that everybody liked.
Well,
that's so true, Bestie.
That's so true. You can also say everyone liked Astros, and there we go. Fuck you, Astros.
No,
sweet,
I mean,
baby. Astros sweet, baby.
What I mean is like it's the thing that if it was. It's the
if it was better, everyone would have loved it. Am I right, gamers? Am I right?
Ugh.
If it wasn't for the woke mob, this game would have been a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, that's definitely not what I mean. What I mean is
if Sweet Baby ain't kind of done something that I don't understand, then we'd be fine.
Nominate these things have like a very obvious taste. You can normally guess what the Game of the Year is really easily.
I mean, I'm like 99%. We're not doing predictions for what will win any of these categories, but I think we'll be coming back in like 3 or 4 weeks, and I'll be saying that I'm like 90% sure that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth still wins Game of the Year when we get to the end of this. But
I don't.
Yeah, you will never. But I still. We'll get to that conversation, but it's like I still think that this is this isn't one of those years where I'm sitting there going, it's anyone's game, because I don't think it is as much as I'd like it to be. I think that there's been 3 extremely well-reviewed games this year. Like, I think, you've got your Astro, you've got your Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, you've got your Metaphor. Obviously, Blatcher is fantastic, but if Blatcher's not got a chance in hell of winning this, right?
Imagine. That'd be hysterical. All these other indie games.
Well, it would be hilarious, to be honest, if the games industry is like, right, we've got a choice between 2 JRPGs and a platformer. Let's pick the indie because we hate these fucking genres, dude. Let's just fucking there. But yeah.
It would be funny, but like over Celeste or Hades being nominated before.
Yeah.
Uh,
Anyway,
uh,
let's round it off right there. Do you want to do a quick
Wait, what
rundown,
are we putting
Kyle?
for our last game of the year nom?
Oh, we'll put Dragon Age. Recency bias, I guess.
yeah.
All right.
Read them home. Take us home, Kyle. Read out all of our wonderful picks that are 100% accurate. Jeff Keighley is shuddering in his fucking house right now. I was going to say grave, but he's very much alive.
He's not dead.
Who knows?
Yet.
I'm just a floating head.
For all we know, so was Jeff Keighley.
At the time of recording this, Jeff Keighley is still alive and well.
Out of the 9th of November, everything is fine.
Oh, man.
Anyway,
right.
Go on, Kyle. Read them all out. All 6 million.
Game of the year, we got Astrobot, FF7 Rebirth, Metaphor, Balatro, Silent Hill 2, and Dragon Age. Best game direction is those same 5 games except for Dragon Age.
Yep.
Best narrative is 4 of those same games and Senua Saga 2.
Yep.
It's the same games for art direction. It's the same games all the way down the list, you guys. I don't know what to tell you. Gaming's dead, and we have killed it.
Oh.
I just want to say, I think this has been a great exercise.
Make sure to come back for our award show, because there will be at least a morsel of variety.
I'm going to say the same 4 games the whole time, dude.
Well, I'll have a little bit more.
This came out this year award, and it's just the same 4 games that I'm giving Game of the Year to, dude. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I don't know. I just think that, it feels spoilt to be like, we've had so many great JRPGs and so many great games in general in 2024, and then to look back at it and kind of go, oh, it's the same 4 games. But this is kind of what happens when you have a year where every game slots into the same fucking category, where 90% of the best games that have come out this year are all RPGs. This is what happens, is you just kind of have to sit there and go, okay.
Yeah, this is life.
We had Astrobot, which was a bit different. We had, a couple of Nintendo. Well, also Nintendo is on their last year slump, dude. Okay, they've been churning out 17 4s to 79s like it's no one's fucking business all year, right? Like, can't blame them. But man, it's like.
And then they remade a GameCube game,
yeah,
which was an RPG.
Yeah, here's hoping that.
Do you think TTYD goes in best role playing game instead of Dragon Age?
Fuck no.
No.
No?
I could see it. I could see someone throwing Mario or Paper Mario in art style. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't feel like redoing our nominations though, so keep that in the back of your head for our show, Kyle.
I mean, I was just looking at it and I'm like, who cares about Dragon's Dogma, dude?
Oh, Dragon's Dogma for RPG? No, a lot of people did. It got like an 88 or something like when it
A lot of
came
people
out.
did, but now they don't is the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they just bought their £6 million PS5 Pros and they've got ray trace reflections on the dragon's ass or something. So they'll rekindle their love. It's fine. Don't worry about it. But yeah,
that thing exists.
Anyway, that's our part 1 of this trilogy of Game Awards shenanigans. Join us back in 3 weeks' time when we try to figure out what went wrong with our with our reasoning. Why did Elden Ring get nominated for everything? Let's find out, shall we? Yeah. It feels weird because we're doing this a week later this year because the Game Awards are a week later. So it feels like everything is out of sync where it's like, oh, we should be getting closer. And we're not. It's still like 4 weeks away.
It feels like everything's a week later this year.
Yeah.
It's like American Thanksgiving is also a week later than it normally is.
Yeah, it's super weird. Like it's
just like at the very end of the month.
Like there's only 2 days left in the month after that. It's
yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, but don't worry, guys. We'll keep you company until the Game Awards with a bunch of filler, because we're back in the filler arc, ladies and gentlemen. It's time.
We had a good run.
Maybe a Dragon Quest 3 Impressions hero there, depending on if Kyle's copy ever
whenever it shows up.
Yeah. So don't expect Impressions straight on release, but whenever it shows up, we will do an episode on it. We promise. But yeah, that is it for this week, ladies and gentlemen. Back into the mines we go to figure out some content. Who knows what we'll come out with? Probably a 3x3 or something like that. But you'll have to find out. Maybe I'll play a video game this week. That's my goal. I'm going to play a video game this week, guys. I promise. One day.
Good job.
Thank you.
And play some more Metaphor. I believe in you.
No. I bought Planet Coaster and refunded Planet Coaster instead of playing Metaphor. It was pretty.
Gonna find a new game called Analogy just to spite you, Kyle.
Yeah.
Oh no.
He's just gonna go
Man's
back.
gonna go play Simile instead.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows what I'll do?
Famicom Detective Club, the Simile Man.
Dude, I would play those games, but that's super fucking expensive, dude. Like, jeez, they're like £50 or something like that. My god. I can't pay £50 to read. That's crazy. Anyway, let's wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll be back same time, same place next week for goodness knows what. But until then, have an awesome week. And yeah, see you next time. Bye.
See ya.
Toodaloo.